Hello, my Teaserking family. I don't know what happened. I get a warning on YouTube. I don't know if you can hear me or not. It says you disconnected. You need to get reconnected. Normally, it blows out my internet. Is what happens here because I think it's a bandwidth issue. From what I've been told, when I go live on YouTube, it's grabbing a lot of bandwidth, which causes this to kind of blow up. And my internet's still working, so I'm like going, okay, so now I'm back to we'll go where we finished up. So I think we're at Alabama, Arkansas. Um, Again, I need like over 21 to take Arkansas, but I think they could move on Alabama's defense and make it a good game. UCF SMU, very good game. We got a lot of very good games this week. UCF, I have -7 because it's at home. Pardon me. Haven't eaten yet. Should be a high scoring game. UCF just lost to TCU. They lost, I think, to Maryland. So we know they're going to score. UCF should score. So it should be a high scoring game. We'll see. Rutgers and Ohio State. Ohio State will kill them. I got them laying 35. It'll probably be in the 40s. Rutgers, not much of a offense at all. Decent defense, but not as good as Wisconsin's. Ohio State, as we see at home, they have to win. So I look for them to destroy them. Bowling Green, Akron. Akron is the Z team. I got Bowling Green -10. So we will see what happens. Basically just bet against Akron as the Z team. So we'll see how high the spread gets. Maryland, Michigan State. Maryland, I got -7. Good, Michigan State looks terrible. Maryland looks okay. I mean, they played Michigan pretty good. Even their backup quarterback looked good. So I don't know here. I don't know how bad Michigan State is. They look terrible. I don't know. We'll see what the spread is. Maryland -7. I can't say Maryland's not that good where I'm gonna bet them to beat a Michigan State, but Michigan State, they're gonna play a good game because they got killed by Minnesota. So look for Michigan State to play better, but I don't know if they don't have running. They can't really do much. They don't have a passing. You can pass on them, which is what Maryland does. So we'll see. North Texas, Florida Atlantic. I got North Texas laying 3. It's an over game. Florida Atlantic's a live dog here. Mississippi State, Texas A&M. Beautiful game. Mississippi State laying 7. A&M. We see A&M does not have an offense. Has a very good defense. They should never have beaten Arkansas, but they did. Now they're going on the road against Mississippi State, who's got a defense this year. So this will be an interesting game. I think it'll be close. Mississippi State, I thought, would beat LSU and got killed. So how live is A&M as a dog with no offense? We'll see. Georgia Southern, Coastal Carolina. Beautiful game. This is our explosive team, Georgia Southern. Coastal Carolina. Excuse me. Coastal Carolina. We got McCall. He got injured. Is he going to play? How serious was the injury? Their backup didn't look too bad. I got Coastal Carolina laying 7 because what I know about Georgia Southern, the real line will probably be more like 14. I like Georgia Southern with a lot of points, and then it depends if McCall's playing. So if McCall's out, I really like Georgia Southern. If he's playing, then it probably goes more to an over game. I don't know what this game is. It's It must be Louisiana Lafayette or Louisiana Monroe against Southern Illinois, because I already got Louisville, BC, and Louisville would never be playing South Alabama. So it's either Lou Lafayette or Lou Monroe. Probably Lou Lafayette against South Alabama. South Alabama looks very good. I'll have to find out that game. But I would think South Alabama would be, if it's either the Lou, Lafayette, or Monroe, it'll be at least a 10-point favorite. But I like them. They almost had UCLA. They're a very strong team. Washington State and Cal, beautiful game in Washington State. A couple of weeks ago, I would have thought this would be a great under. Now I'm not so sure. All of a sudden, Washington State looks like a complete team. Good good quarterback, good offense, good defense. Cal lit it up. They scored a lot of points. They got a good defense. Now I'm confused because Notre Dame got 24 on them, and last week they put up it was like a 40. So this might be an over. I don't know if I take Cal as the dog or just stick with Washington State. This will be an interesting spread. I have Washington State lane 7. All right. Almost done. Charlotte and UTEP. Charlotte, I have -3. Now, if Reynolds is back, but they're a terrible defensive team. So this would be, I don't know if UTEP scores enough to make it an over, but we'll see. Anyway, Charlotte with Reynolds back is a much better team. Old Dominion, Liberty, this should be very low scoring. I got Old Dominion lane 3. Liberty's quarterback's out. Old Dominion's just a weak but a good defensive team, so this should be a very low scoring game. Old D -3 is what I got. Western Kentucky, Troy, I got Western Kentucky -10. Again, Western Kentucky laying the 10 with Troy. Troy almost beat App State. Western Kentucky put up 100 last week. Good offensive team. We'll see what's happening there. I'll need some more analysis, but I got Western Kentucky can definitely score. The question is, how strong is Troy's offense and defense? Arkansas State, Lou Monroe. So the other Lou must be Lou Lafayette, who's playing South Alabama. It's got to be my guess. Lou laugh. Like the Joker, laugh. Haha. All right. So if this is Lou Monroe against Ark State, over team, good offense. I got him laying 10 to Lou Monroe. It'll probably be higher. Lou Monroe, not a very good team. Got the upset over Lou Lafayette, so they'll probably be flat this week. Cincinnati, Tulsa. Cincinnati, we know, is a good team all around, an A team. Tulsa, I don't know if they're an A team or just an over team. I'll have to see, but they have a good quarterback in Bryn. He can light it up. Probably a live dog here. Cincy -7 in Tulsa. We'll see where that spread is. East Car in South Florida. I got East Car -14. East Car should blow them out, especially after losing. And South Florida is terrible, so I look for East Car to come back big. LSU, Auburn, interesting. Auburn stinks. No offense. Decent defense. LSU should win. I got them laying 7 just because it's at Auburn, but it'll probably be higher. And, trying to get a feel of LSU right now. Nebraska and Indiana. How can Nebraska be favored over anybody? They lost to Northwestern, who we see sucks. It's at home. I got a -3 against Indy. I would take Indy with any points. I just think Nebraska's terrible. Wyoming, San Jose State. I got Wyoming at home -10. That's about right. San Jose State, they look good against Western Michigan at home, but this is at Wyoming, who beat the Air Force at home, so I think Wyoming wins here. Interesting game, UAB and Rice. UAB is the A team. Rice is an over team now, so Rice can score. I got UAB -17. I don't know how much higher I would go with UAB with this Rice offense, but definitely somewhat. Virginia and Duke. I got Duke -7. Duke is a good scoring team. As they proved it, Virginia is kind of an under. It's probably a pretty even game, so we'll have to see what the line is. Maybe I take Duke under a field goal. If it gets much higher, I might take Virginia getting 15 or so. Georgia and Missouri. I got Georgia -21. Probably be in the upper 20s. Georgia should shut them out. They're probably a little embarrassed they gave 22 up to my Kent State team, but I just think Georgia just kills them. Probably be an under if they make it again in the mid-50s. This will definitely be an under. New Mexico State, Florida International, a couple of Z's going at each other. I got New Mexico State -3 because they're at home. Hard to bet. Arizona, Colorado. Colorado's the Z. Arizona with the good passing offense, kind of a weak defense. I got them laying 10. It'll probably be a little higher. But again, Colorado's the bet against team there. Arizona can score, so this is what we like if it's not too high. USC, Arizona State. I got USC -17, probably be in the 20s. Arizona State's terrible. USC should kill them. Arizona State does not bring the Oregon State or Washington State's defense into this. So US State will have time, and they'll light it up, and they'll be mad, and they'll pound them. Stanford, Oregon. Oregon at home. I got 14 against Stanford, is about where it should be. I think Oregon's showing that they can score. Stanford, really kind of a weak team. Decent offense. Depends where the over-under is on this game, but I think Oregon, the way they look, they'll blow out Stanford. Stanford, Colorado, probably the two, and Arizona State, probably the weakest teams there. So that's what we have coming up. I don't know if people are on and I can't see it, or they're not on, waiting for me to come back on my other video. I apologize, but I lost signal on the first video, and I'm back on just finishing up on the second one. Most of the news was we went through last week's games. So these are this week's coming up games with my lines, and then I'll get the real lines and the over-unders, and then we can see where we can take advantage of the bad lines and the over-unders. So I've already brought in the stats. I got to do the pro stats later. I'm going to go eat lunch and hit my pool. Okay, so I think that's it. Since I don't see a visitor, you're going to get me on the feed. Again, I lost signal. I apologize, but it's out of my control, and I don't know if I'm still there with a bad signal or not. My internet's still on, so it didn't blow up my internet, which is usually what happens. So anyway, I guess that's it. www.teaserking.com. Go there, get my email, ask me questions. Tonight we have a lot going in the Dallas Giant game. In the locks, we hit 4 college and 2 pro. I'm 6-0 in the locks this week. Georgia under, Georgia Southern, Kansas, Arkansas were my locks. Then I had the Bears under as a lock and the 49ers under as the other lock. And that leaves me with the lock tonight, which is on the Dallas Giants game. So anyway, so that's what's going on with Teaser King and Teaser King world. Please be careful of your gold and silver and getting to the bank and getting your money out. What you're doing, if you really want to think about gold and silver, and I won't be long with this, but I do feel it's prudent. Gold, what you're doing is buying money. You're not really buying an investment. What you're doing is you've got to think about it like a car. You have an old car, and you know it's getting old and depreciating, and it's pretty much not worth a lot. And so what do? You trade in your car for a new car. Why do you do that? Well, because I need the new car. Well, Howard, this is money. It's the US dollar. Is it, it doesn't get old and then depreciate to zero. And I'm going, yes, it does when it's paper and not backed by anything. If it's backed by gold, no, you're right, it doesn't. Gold never depreciates and gets bad. But the dollar being backed by nothing and Biden pissing everybody off, which is all part of the plan to blow up the dollar to go digital, that's exactly what he's doing. And then you can't get to your bank to get your money out, and your money's going to be worthless anyway. Stock market is crashing as we talk, and it's only going to get worse because the companies, when your costs go up, okay, so our costs are up, we can't buy as much, right? If I go to the grocery store and pay $100 instead of 50, that's $50 less that I have to buy other goods and services with. So therefore, I buy less. Therefore, the companies who sell buy less. I was watching where Walmart's and Sam's Club and Costco are just reducing their inventory because they can just see that people aren't buying. There's all these car repossessions. People can't afford their car payment. So businesses are based on future revenues. That's why stock goes up. Microsoft or iPhone. Oh, everybody's going to buy an Apple. Nobody's going to buy an Apple now at $1,500. They want to eat. They want to pay their rent. And as rent goes up and as heating goes up, what are you going to do in the winter? So it's going to be very difficult. So with that being said, stocks are going to fall because earnings will drop because their costs went up, but they can't pass the cost on to the consumer. So if I do this with my barbecue restaurant, I go eat there, and as I eat there, what do? The guy's ribs go up, and then he raises the price on the ribs. Well, I keep telling him, but if you can't make your ribs $100 for a slab. Nobody can afford it. So even though your costs go up, you can't just raise it to the customer. He won't pay it. You've got to figure out something else to do. And that's what's going to happen to the rib place. And that's what's going to happen to a lot of places. So their stock's going to go down because their costs go up. They make less money. And therefore, if they're making less money, the stock has to drop because they're not hitting earnings and stocks go down. And oil is going to drop because people won't have cars to drive, or they'll drive bicycles, or they won't go out as much. I mean, that's what happens. So that's the problem right now, is all this with the cost going up. So the stock market's going to crash. So the only place to put your money in is baseball cards or diamonds or Picassos or gold and silver. And gold and silver are money. So you'll be fine in gold and silver. And at worst case, if you need it, you take a gold ounce and you sell it back to the coin guy. He'll buy it from you. Don't worry about will there be demand. There's always demand for gold and silver. The Chinese and the Russians, I'm sure, will buy it from you. No questions asked. And then you got to get out of stocks because you're going to lose your ass. So if we think about how do I not lose instead of what do I gain? Well, we don't lose, we don't want to lose betting against Alabama, let's say. Well, we don't lose if our money is in the stock market. We don't want to lose it. How do we keep it? The best way is to get it out of the bank and out of the stock market and put it into gold and silver, or you just put it in your safe or do something. But US dollar is going out because it's old. Nobody wants it anymore because they pissed off everybody. So everybody's going to this BRICS countries, and everybody's going to this dollar backed by gold and silver because that makes sense. Yeah, it's backed by gold and silver. It'll hold the value. At the end of the day, people want to be in stuff that hold the value, and that's what'll hold the value. So that's where you want to be. Get out of the bank, leave $5,000 in there, but don't leave much more than that because it's going to, you're going to be lucky to get your money out. So don't leave a lot of money in the bank. Just leave enough to pay your rent and your, utilities, credit cards. If you have, just go easy on them. But that's what's happening. So it's going to be a terrible depression coming up. Far worse than anything. Yes, it's worldwide. Every country's inflating. It just sounds like a Nazi plot where they're blowing up the world. I mean, every country, Germany, England, Italy, Japan, China, they're all losing their ass and they're all printing their money, and it just doesn't make any freaking sense. There's some warp plan by some warp. It's like a James Bond movie where the guy's like the evil billionaire who wants to, well, we'll come out with a new colony and we'll get rid of all the humans. That's exactly what sounds like it's happening. So you're only out as gold and silver, and that's it. So it's, think about it, you're buying money as if you're buying a Mantle card or a Burrow card or a Brady card. Think about it like that. So anyway, please get out. Please buy your gold and silver for protection. You're buying money. So all you're doing is you're taking $1,000 in USD that's going down in value, and you're buying $1,000 in gold and silver. And that's all you're doing. You're not even really spending your money. You're just switching it to money. You're switching paper to money. That's all you're doing. So that's all you got to think about. Don't think about it as, well, am I going to make all this money? That's the kicker. Yes, you're going to make a ton of money because gold and silver are going to rise to their normal value. Now, once there, it's not an investment, but where it is now is not the real price either. So what we're doing is buying it really cheap to get to the real price, which will be about 10 grand or so, on its way up to 30, 40, 50, but who knows? It'll be very high. When will it happen? Very, very soon, probably by the end of the year. But it's not like anybody knows, oh, it's going to be November 22nd is when it's going to. Nobody knows the exact date. You only know it's going to happen because you can read it. It's like looking at a football game, right? I don't know. Let's look at Michigan, Iowa, and we only know it's going to be an under. Well, we can't give you the exact score, but Iowa has a great defense and can't score. So obviously the game's going to be low scoring, but I can't. It's like saying, well, what's the score? Well, I don't know. I just know it'll be low scoring because you have a team with a great defense and no offense, and Michigan's going to run and try to move on that, and they don't have a quarterback. They're not going to score. So that's what you're looking at. So it'll be low scoring, but you don't know exactly. I know the gold's going to go up in value out of the U.S. dollar, which is going down further and further and further. That we know. When does the dollar go to zero, and when does the gold and silver go to 30, 40,000 an ounce? That we don't know, but we know it's going to happen because gold will get to its real value. So anyway, that's your economics lesson. Just watch what's going on. It's just really crazy. Again, once China announces they have 30,000 or 20,000 tons of it, that's the black swan. Or when Saudi Arabia announces, hey, we're switching to any currency. It's not going to have to be U.S. dollars that buys oil. We'll take oil from anybody. And once those two get out in the public, that's when the dollar's dead because nobody will want it. It's not backed by anything. Everybody's smart enough to realize it's being printed, but for some reason, they're not smart enough to not hyperinflate their own money. Anyway, you have a bunch of inflation going on. The silver and gold will go up a lot. I don't even know what it'll be priced in because when the dollar blows up, like now it's 1,800 US, but then it'll go to 20,000 US. Then it doesn't even go because the US will be gone. So who knows the value and what it'll be valued in? It'll just be valued in gold. Oh, I want to buy a house. Here's an ounce of gold. Because as the cars are being repossessed, so will the houses. So then the guy's going to have a house. He's just going to want anything for it. Oh, I got an ounce of gold. Okay, I'll take it because I know the ounce of gold has value. You can have my house for the ounce of gold because I need money to survive. So now it becomes a survival thing. So be very careful. Crime will go up. It's just going to be a real nightmare. So please be careful. Please get your money out of the bank. At least put it in a safe in your house or somewhere. Um, don't leave your money or your gold in safety deposit box at a bank or at any public government place. Do not do that. You won't be able to get it out. So take your money, buy a safe, put it in your trunk, put it at one of those pods or one of these little security boxes for moving. Get it, just buy one of those and put it in there or something. Um, just be careful, but don't leave it in a bank. You won't be able to get it out. Maybe Switzerland, I don't know, depending on how much you have and how you can get it there. But I'm trying to figure out how to travel with it to put it in a safe spot. Anyway, that's what's going on. So please be aware. I don't want people to go, I wish you would have told me. Well, that's why I'm telling you. And I'm telling you exactly what's going to happen like I do in football. So just understand and be careful. Got questions? Ask me. www.teaserking.com. Email. Howard, what are you talking about? And I can explain it very well. I've got a master's in it. I've got all the details. I know exactly what's going to happen. Like I know Iowa is an under team. So keep that in mind. This is what's going to happen. You need to protect yourself. Take your winnings and buy gold and silver with them or whatever you want to do with it. It's the key way out. But anyway, I know there was a little technical glitch before. My internet went fuzzy, so that's why I'm doing a second video. It's just a continuation going through the games. Tomorrow we'll go through the pros and try to identify what the hell is going on there. I did have 2 locks in the pros that won, the Bears under, the Niners under, and I got a third lock going tonight. So I am finally getting some that. We had Cincinnati, Tennessee, as Nick said. Those were strong plays. The only real strong loser I had yesterday was Kansas City, who I'm watching keeps fumbling and playing a terrible game against Indy. They were not interested in it, and they have Tampa Bay next week. So you can kind of get an understanding of, you wouldn't think they would be that flat. But again, the guy fumbles the punt. Well, what's he doing out there, man? Get rid of this guy. You cannot have a guy who can't return a punt, can't even catch the punt. That happened for the Niners when Harbaugh kept going to the championship game. When the Giants beat New England, it's because Harbaugh was too stupid. His one punt returner fumbled the punt. So he puts him out again, and guess what happens? He fumbles the second one. Giants kicked the field goal to win. Get the guy out. Put in somebody who's just catch the ball, Johnny, and let him catch the ball. I mean, that's what you need to do. So, terrible coaching. This is why coaches get fired. They go for 4th and 2 at their own 30 and don't make it. That's why coaches get fired. They go for 2 points. They don't make it. That's why coaches get. The Jacksonville coach kept going for 2 at the end of the game and kept missing and kept losing. Next thing you know, he's fired because you only won 5 games. Well, I kept going for 2. Yeah, did you get any? No. Don't go for 2. Kick the extra point. And these announcers, it's okay to go for it on 4th down. They want to win. No, if you want to win, you punt the ball and play defense. That's how you win. All right, everybody. So pros tomorrow. We got the lock tonight. And again, www.teaserking.com. Get my email. You may ask me any questions. I look at my email all the time. And then the buy your gold and silver. Buy what you can afford, but all you're doing is buying money. So it's not like you're buying clothes. So it's not like you're spending your money. You're just switching money, currency for money, paper for money, and you want the money. You want the hard stuff, not the ETFs, not the stocks, because the market's crashing. So you want to be in gold. Don't get in the ETFs. They're not real gold. Don't get into IRA gold. That's not real. You can't take possession. At the end of the day, they're not going to let you get to it. So you got to go to the coin store or go online and say, I want 10 ounces of gold, pay them, and then receive it and then have it in your hands. It's the only way, but it's better to go to a coin store where you can walk in, pay it, and get the gold and walk out with ounces of gold and silver in your hand. No sales tax because you're not buying anything. You're just buying currency or you're buying money. So there's no sales tax, and then you don't have to worry about shipping because you go there. So anyway, that's what you want to do. So please protect yourself. Please feel free to ask me. I am the professor for a reason. I know what the fuck's going on in economics and football. All right, everybody, have a great day. I will talk to you soon. I apologize for the mess before with the internet. I see a few people. Any questions or comments from you were probably on before, and I again apologize, but I lost it. Oh, now I'm getting my people back. Questions or comments? I was about to leave, but as I had 0 watchers, so anything else? All right, we'll talk pros. Lock tonight, and then pros. We'll talk about pros tomorrow, what happened this week. All right, everybody, have a great day. www.teaserking.com.